Okay, so in the next video, I'm going to show you the exact model that we're going to build. That way you have a clear set of expectations from the start. But before we get into that, I just want to zoom out and talk about the big picture of what are we really creating here, because the 13-week cash flow is something that always gets overcomplicated. And so on this one sheet here, this one pager, I have a very simple 13-week forecast built out for somebody's personal expenses. You can see it's labeled personal and simple. And really, that's all we're going to be doing at the business level as well. So let's just talk about this directionally. At the top, we have a list of dates that are running along the columns. And you can see we've probably got 1 week here of history, or what's flagged as the actual. And then we have 13 weeks of a forecast. And in terms of the forecast, we're just making directional estimates as to what cash is going to do, because we want to see, well, how much cash do we think we're going to have in 13 weeks or any period in between. And so the way that this family has built this cash flow forecast is they opened up their checking account, they saw $5,000 in there, and then they modeled out some very basic things that you and I are both very familiar with. This would be our basic inflows, like our paychecks. Looks like this family looks like 2 paychecks coming in. And so all they've done is punch them in every other week to match up with their pay period. So again, we're getting away from accounting and accrual. This is all direct method, just thinking about when does cash actually come in. And this sums up to their total inflow. So this is everything that's going to come into the bank account for this family. And then they have a second bucket just called the outflows. And these are also familiar categories. They're going to be paying their mortgage or their rent, credit card payments, gas and electric, and really anything else that you might see in a personal budget. And so they've got expenses going out here as well. And they've just tried to do their best to match up the timing. They're saying in this week here, January, that ends on January 15th, we're going to be paying a $3,000 credit card bill. Okay. And so they've got their outflows totaled up as well as their inflows, and then the net, or the change in cash, which is just the sum of the inflows and the outflows. And then this change in cash is going to work its way up here at the top, and it just gives us a rolling balance. So we had 5,000 to start. The net is going to be 1,500 out, and so by the end of that week, it's going to be 3,500. And really, that's the entire exercise. We look at what we have today, we make thoughtful estimates about the future, and then we see where we're going to end up. And we're doing the exact same thing at the business level. It's always helpful to see this in a graph, and so we do have a graph down here. Just visually, it shows you where some of the pain points are. It looks like kind of at the end of the month, things are a little bit tighter, and then mid-month, it's a little bit easier. So as we get into the modeling exercise, just keep this tab in mind, because this is all that we're doing. We're saying, what do we have at our disposal? What estimates can we make for the future? And then where are we going to end up in terms of cash? So in the next video, I'm going to walk you through the exact model that we're going to build so you know what to expect.